All right, everyone. First show back, and we're going to talk about what was shared today on the Candace Owens show. And I'm going to share with you guys my thoughts about what she revealed about the Daily Wire, what she revealed about Erica Kirk, and her relationship to Andrew Colvett. She gave us basically a recap of everything that happened prior to her absence, prior to her little sabbatical before the new year. If you were keeping up with her information on Twitter, you saw all this was happening, but essentially she opens the show and she says people are crazy. Like, what is actually happening? She was absolutely livid at AmFest and the Charlie Kirk tent that was put up. So she expressed quite a bit of rage. Again, completely acceptable. And yeah, we are the only people who seem to be responding to this like humans. So I want to talk about two things today that Candace shared. Number one, the Daily Wire is obsessed with Candace. If you are not aware, they are creating an entire show based on Candace Owens. So before I show you guys the clip where she shares the exact details of this, I want to say something about that I think is very evident about the Daily Wire. Number one, they are about 7 weeks too late. They don't pick up on trends very quickly. And because they don't have anybody in there, it seems that has any kind of, they're not in touch with the real world. They're not in touch with reality. It's very obvious that they like hop onto trends late, or they can't tell what people are really into. So I'll let Candace explain this, but Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire are essentially hiring a young girl to spend an entire hour or whatever bashing Candace Owens. So what they started doing was re-uploading her old videos and opening up her old social media accounts without her permission. But of course, the Daily Wire is run like a high-level gang, and so of course they didn't ask her to do this. So let her explain to you guys what's happening, and then we'll talk about it.
So we obviously have to discuss Fort Huachuca. Before we get there, about an hour before we went live, a bunch of people were messaging me saying that the Daily Wire had brought back my old YouTube channel. They had seemingly deleted it. Apparently, they just privatized it, and they brought it back. And as you can see, they premiered an old trailer from when I was joining the Daily Wire. And if this wasn't a mistake, this was not a mistake, because they put a card in the front that said this was shot in 2021. So what are they doing? They also did the same thing on Instagram. My old Instagram channel, they re-released my trailer from when I was first joining them. So clearly they're trying to get attention for something. And I can tell you what that something is. I love scooping people when they're just being weird. First, I should say, I did have a little bit of sympathy over this break. I would like to apologize to the midget horse. The midget horse never deserved the FU. There's nothing wrong with being a midget horse. And yeah, I was a little fired up and I attacked a small horse. That probably did.
Notice how she refuses to apologize to Ben Shapiro. So funny.
Nothing wrong, if I'm being honest. Now, more broadly speaking, the reason I had sort of snapped at the end of last year is that it has been a very long road, as I showed you an example of me just trying to be fired like a normal person. Just so you guys know, in a normal world, your employer, if they fire you, that should be the last you hear of them.
And I want to say something about this because I think this is very fascinating how our government and I guess I should say like independent news media is operating. This, in any other scenario, this would be considered harassment, blackmail. This would be considered potentially blackmail. It would be illegal. Like, this is conduct that is not appropriate of an employer. Can you imagine getting fired from Apple and then Apple is sending, making a bunch of content about you, talking about you, constantly and making, videos about you and talking about them at their conferences. Could you imagine a real company doing this? You would be fired. You would be like, people could sue for this kind of behavior. She is absolutely correct. This is very strange. And I think this speaks to, unfortunately, the kind of power that the Daily Wire thinks that they have slash has. They don't have enough power to actually cancel someone who's good at their job, right? But they do have the power to continue to conduct themselves in unprofessional manners and not receive any consequences. Any other employer who did this would be in serious legal trouble. This is not acceptable behavior. And so it's fascinating that they are allowed to continue to do this. And I know that Candace has other things on her plate, but if she wanted to, she could very well sue them for harassment, I believe, because this is not what a true professional company does.
Then have them follow you to events, calling people, try to get you canceled from speaking events,
Yeah, this is stalking. This behavior would be called stalking. Companies cannot stalk. Right? You cannot do this. Whistleblowers are not allowed to be abused. This is a form of abuse that they are participating in. It's unbelievable.
Pressure on people, lawsuits. That's actually toxic. And when I said to people that it was getting to a point where I felt like I was being stalked by them, I said this like privately. I said, I genuinely feel like when you break up with someone and you have a crazy ex, that was how it felt like being fired from the Daily Wire. Except in this circumstance, the ex broke up with you, but then I guess like maybe changed their mind or just didn't want to see you move on and be happy or successful. There was an element of this that felt, and I truly am not trying to be dramatic here, it felt like a crazy ex-stalker. Like, if I can't have you, nobody can have you, And so to connect this point, to build this corollary for you guys, that was how I felt. That was what I was expressing to you at the end of last year, that I was done with it. Right? I was like, I'm leaving Daily Wire in 2025, come hell or high water. Well, they want hell or high water because it turns out the reason they're doing this and doing it on my channel is because they are trying to hard launch a young woman named Madison Bransford. Okay. Now she's apparently an intern at the Daily Wire, and they're basically dropping like an iCarly type Nickelodeon feel show where she's going to make fun of me. And the show is entitled In the No-No because apparently they watch every second of my show, which they've been doing for a very long time. They used to send clips and have people make fun of me.
They will fail miserably. They will fail miserably. And let me tell you why. This, for only so long are people going to watch a show fully dedicated to mocking someone. That's just, people just don't have the attention span for that. So if this may work for maybe a few weeks, and then people are going to be incredibly bored. And what the other thing is going to happen is that people are going to start watching Candace and they're going to start going, well, some of this makes sense. Some of this is weird. This will backfire in a massive way for the Daily Wire. Haven't they learned that they don't have any good ideas yet? Like, is there anybody left on the Daily Wire that's actually good? Anybody left that has any kind of following that people actually care to listen to? Haven't they learned that it's time to hang it up? This is a very weird and like very high school girl, as Megyn Kelly said, way of quote unquote getting back at Candace. It's the weirdest thing I've ever heard of. And it will backfire massively because people will start to listen because they'll want to know the reference point, right? So what people will do is they'll watch, if they do watch this show, they'll go back to Candace's show, watch it and say, oh, some of this starts to make sense. So, and this is, so Candace has made this point before where she says, when you start making fun of someone, you draw attention to them, right? Obviously. So like Fort Huachuca, like Candace Owens, somebody is close to something. This is a massive operation to try and silence her. Starting an entire TV show to mock a single person is strange behavior. And I think she's right. I think that she's getting close to things. The more and more information that she shares, which we'll talk about in a little bit, what she shares about Erica Kirk, the more information that she shares, the more we realize that she has more information than the government wants her to have, and she's getting very close, because there's no reason that a Ben Shapiro would want to make an entire TV program about her. The powers that be are trying to humiliate her. But Candace is a very unique person that she cannot be embarrassed. And I encourage all of you to like get that kind of mentality. Like, you just can't be embarrassed. So she's like, okay, I'll go ahead and you guys can go ahead and make a whole TV show about me, mock me all you want, but I have information. At the end of the day, you're not going to stop me. Most people would run and hide and be absolutely terrified, but they send out this young girl to mock Candace. It's just very weird. It's again, the Daily Wire does not know how to read the room. If they wanted to do a good job at this, they would send someone who was at Candace's maturity level, at her intellect. Do not send a little girl out here to try and mock. It will fail miserably, but they're going to get what they deserve. Let's finish listening to this, and then we'll move on to the next clip where she talks about Erica Kirk.
First getting started. And so now, because they still can't let me go, and since Ben is now on stage bringing me up and saying, we don't know, no, but we know, like it's giving crazy ex-stalker. They're now launching a show with this girl. I'm sure she's a lovely human being. It's basically like they tried to find someone that's similar to Brett, but it's not at all, because it's not mature. And she's just going to make fun of this show. So that's what the Daily Wire has in store. I'm sorry to have scooped you on this new brilliant idea to hard launch something on my socials of somebody making fun of me. I'm sure you thought that was going to get some like huge applaud. It's weird. It makes me uncomfortable, if I'm being frank. I'd like you guys to move on. I understand now you're never going to stop. This is just what we are. You're forever going to obsess about everything that I'm doing. I think it's a bad idea. I would kill it if I were you guys, but I see that you've already made a significant investment. And I hope it works out. I hope a person dedicated to making fun of me in the know, I hope it works out for young Maddie. Anyways.
Yeah, because here's the thing, that they could literally ruin this girl's career. She's not thinking long-term, and they're not thinking long-term. Do you really want to be known as the girl that was like Daily Wire's little test driver for mocking Candace Owens? Do you really want that to be your title? I wonder how old she is too. I'll have to look into her, because this could be she could literally ruin her if she wants a public speaking career, podcasting, influencing. This is a bad move. You do not want to be on the wrong side of history of this publicly. You do not. And you certainly do not want to dedicate your time as a young woman in her 20s mocking a, late 30s mother of 4 kids. Trust me, that's not going to end well. And here's the other thing that's really scary to think about. Candace Owens has millions of people, right? She's at 5.7 million subscribers. I pray to God for this little girl, because to me, she's a little girl, that she is not stalked and harassed out of her mind. I pray to God that she has thick skin, because she will be massacred online. They will go dig into every single detail of her life. They will find out every single lie she's ever told, every boyfriend she's ever had, and they will clean her out emotionally. Ben Shapiro is an idiot. He does not know how to protect this young woman. People will find out about who she is, and they will run through the streets with her information, because people are still very angry with the death of Charlie and the lies that people have been told. So Ben Shapiro, he better watch it. He better watch it, because that girl is in for a rough one. I tell you, a rough one. Okay, now, so that was the first part of the episode. Now let's get to the part where Candace Owens shares with us that EK and Andrew Colvette are working together. Let me see if there's anything else she says.
We now need to turn our attention back now that we've recapped how I'm feeling about the new year. We obviously have to discuss Fort Huachuca because it seems to have driven people insane.
Yes. Okay, so let's get to this.
If you don't understand the rules of power, you will certainly lose to someone who does. I'm
Brian Harpole. So what is this actually about? Right? What is this actually about? And what was upsetting to me, especially first and foremost, because this makes no sense, nobody accused Erica of being anywhere on the 9th, but yet we see her finger in there. We see that she is showing that she's with her kids on the morning of the 9th. And that to me ran counter to my meeting with Erica. I was left under the impression after my meeting with Erica that Andrew Colvette had gone rogue, right? A lot of the things that I was saying and Turning Point was saying the opposite thing. And I felt like they were trying to make me look like a liar, right? The Charlie Kirk Catholic thing, me speaking about the threats that Charlie received the day before he died. And then Turning Point would come out and issue a statement. Their excuse was like, okay, no, you were telling the truth, but Andrew Colvette went rogue.
And here's why this is so important. That tells you that they are either, and I thought this early on, I was like, oh, Andrew's going to be the scapegoat because they have to protect the CEO, right? They have to protect the CEO. The CEO is Erica Kirk. So there are different, they will throw him under the bus to make sure that she is protected. Now, I don't know if they intentionally left this impression with Candace that, oh, we are not, like, Andrew's just doing things on his own, right? She will tell you now that they are lying about how they're working together because there are so many lies. Pardon my use of the word lies. The lies. Because there are so many lies, and now we find out that they're working jointly, that means EK, Andrew Colvette, Mikey McCoy are all working together and lying together. I'll let Candace tell you guys how that's the part.
And to be honest, I wasn't exactly sure what to believe when I left the meeting. Obviously, I wanted to take time to digest those things. But I'm very clear that that's what I was told, right? They copped to the fact that, yeah, Andrew Colvette did receive that text from Charlie the night before. And Charlie was worried that he was going to be killed. But, Erica didn't know this information and she was looking in his iMessages. Okay, so Andrew went so rogue that he didn't even communicate after Charlie was assassinated to the team that Charlie was afraid he was going to die.
No, she knew. She knew, but the handlers are saying, or whoever's running TPUSA, because you guys know it's not them. Whoever's running TPUSA said, lie. Don't say anything about it. And if we find out that it's the truth, well, they didn't really anticipate that Candace would be telling the truth. We'll just say that Andrew Colvette's going rogue. But they're protecting EK at all costs. Protecting her image of the innocent, Christian, humble housewife.
Also, he was rogue, apparently, on the Superman text as well. Like, he was the one who issued that tweet and quoted the surgeon. I then told you that the surgeon never said that. That was not a quote from the surgeon. What I didn't tell you was that according to my source, which I trust very much, the person that was on that phone that said that quote was actually Erica.
Do you guys remember? Andrew Colvette came out and said it was a 30-06 bullet. The surgeon said that his neck was so strong because he ate so many vegetables. He was so healthy that it stopped the bullet. And Erica was the one who said he was like Superman. So, and listen, I don't know how I would respond to that as a grieving widow. I don't know if I would want to say that too, because in that moment you're trying to just like, you just want him to appear strong for people because you don't want people to feel like he died without a cause or without some sort of strength behind him. I can understand that. But to then like say that publicly, like, why did you say that publicly? Why did you share that publicly? There were so many opportunities for TPUSA to shut their mouth, and they didn't. And again, this speaks to the fact that they are incompetent at their job. They are incompetent. Competent companies wait before they reveal information. All they had to do was say, you know what, we are waiting for the authorities to share more information. And once we have that, the go ahead from them, we will share. But the reason why Candace and others are able to question and poke holes in the narrative is because they spoke too soon. Nobody had a lid on it. And they're lying. They're in cahoots together about it. This is why this is such a problem. It's again, this could have all been solved with an actual proper PR team. So I don't know who hired Andrew Colvette. Yes, it was Charlie Kirk. But that's because Charlie Kirk was his own PR. He didn't need a PR team. He was very good at what he did. Andrew Colvette had an easy life when Charlie Kirk was alive because Charlie Kirk handled everything. Let's continue.
It was a three-way phone call. After my episode, I am told, again, these are two disputed narratives. Erica claims Andrew went rogue and also the surgeon went rogue and violated HIPAA. My source says that no, the surgeon did not violate HIPAA and he never said that. But he answered Andrew Colvette's questions because Erica was on the phone, that the Superman quotation came from her, and they thought it was sweet because she was trying to grapple with things. And that's why I just abstained from telling the public that, because I thought.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying earlier, is that you're just like, okay, you're trying to come up with some way to make his life more meaningful because you're just like, you want it to end. It's like trying to find a way to make it a happy ending, right? And so, yes, Erica was the one who said that, but Andrew Colvette, the surgeon, never said that his neck stopped the bullet. And again, if he had just shut his mouth, nobody would be disputing the narrative. But he kept, just talking too much.
She needed to believe that because he died.
The Wonder Oven Pro is an 8-in-1 non-toxic air fryer toaster oven. Now with 2 new cooking functions.
And I was trying to be gracious. I don't know what to believe. What I see now is that I'm getting played because now I see that she's giving an alibi to Andrew, and Andrew's not going rogue.
Right. It's not that Andrew is, working on, she's kind of out of the loop as they tried to make it seem like he's running. It's really Andrew and Mikey McCoy and Blake Neff. They're all running the show, and Erica's just she's being read in on all these things. No, they're very much in line together. And honestly, I think what's creepy about that is how seamlessly they're lying about this, I guess. And by seamlessly, I don't mean that their lies are good. I mean how seamlessly they fell in line with one another. That's the creepy part to me. How seamlessly it became, okay, we're all lying together. I think that's what's so shocking, is like it took September 9th, October 9th, November 9th, December 9th. Okay, October, November, December. Yeah, 3 months. You guys are seamlessly in line. We're all lying.
Okay. Andrew is being told to do these things. Andrew is being told to attack me and to attack my narrative. Andrew is being told to lie on my name. Andrew is allowing these attacks to happen, sitting there across from Alex Clark, like, God, like, no, he just liked the architecture. And I no longer accept that he is just going rogue.
And what she didn't say there, you guys, is who is allowing him to do this? Who is telling him to do this? It's Erica. It's Erica. Now, so then this is the next logical question is, what is she doing this for? Right? Is it because she's hiding something? Is it because she doesn't know what to do next? Is it because she doesn't have an answer? Well, I'll tell you what, she looks guilty of something. Why lie? Why lie? And she still hasn't provided an alibi for being at the Candlewood Suites.
Okay. that to me shows coordination. There's no other way to read it. So we have to sentence Andrew Colbert to more truth. That's going to be the new vibe. You lie, I tell the truth. So let's revisit the Hamptons. Okay, remember that whole debacle? Another thing that I said to the public was that Seth Dillon was pressing Charlie. I said there was a smaller meeting that took place. I said Bibi Netanyahu called and he offered to take Turning Point to the next level. And everybody had a lot to say and things were crazy. And, oh, Candace is crazy. Max Blumenthal's crazy. He also reported this. Everyone's lying. That's not true. Everything was amazing. Well, the Hamptons debacle came up when I sat down with Erica, and she conceded that, yeah, she was there. I had no idea, by the way, that Erica was there. First time I found out Erica was there was when I was sitting across from Erica. I don't know actually why I wasn't told that earlier. Anyways, the point being is that she was there.
Okay, to be fair, they didn't have to tell her that earlier, but that's really interesting. Why? Because the persona that she puts out to the public is that she is at home with her kids and Charlie's just out working. That's the persona that she puts out to the world. She was in the meeting when Lily from Philadelphia said that he would take Turning Point to the next level. She was in the room.
He conceded. Yes, the Israel thing came up, and just as the people told me that his perspectives on Israel were being challenged. And then she said, yeah, I was there when Bibi Netanyahu called. Okay, how come no one has confirmed that? There's a piece of me that is angry about the fact that I have been telling the truth, and I feel like I have been being gaslit about that.
She has. She's been telling the truth. So, and I don't know when people are going to get it. You can call Candace Owens a lot of things, okay? But you can't call her a willful liar, right? You can't call her a willful liar. You can call her a lot of things. But she has a desire for truth that other people don't have. And she's not going to share things just because they're going to cause people are like, it's about the money. It stopped being about the money when she left the Daily Wire because they were paying her handsomely. It stopped being about the money when she left the Daily Wire. This is now some righteous indignation that she has and revenge. That's what this is about now. Yes, this is about revenge because she's being lied on by TPUSA and she has the receipts to back it up, and that's why she's so angry.
And no one has tossed me a little bit of rope, right? Hey, Candace, you're out there. She's telling the truth. Bibi Netanyahu called. Erica told me that, but he did not offer to take Turning Point to the next level. And I said, really? She said, yeah, I don't know who your source is on that, but that part's not true. He did call, but that part's not true. So what I told her, what I think shocked her, was that my source on that, which I had never previously revealed to the public, was Andrew Colbert.
Yeah. Yep. So this is okay. Here's where things get a little messy, right? So either Erica didn't know or Erica's lying. That's the truth. Either she didn't know, maybe she muted, maybe she went and dealt with the kids for a little bit, or she was distracted, or she's lying. That's why Candace has this face on right now. Somebody is lying. Somebody is not telling the truth.
It was Andrew Colbert who told me that Bibi Netanyahu offered to take Turning Point to the next level and that Charlie Kirk said no. Did he go rogue again? I don't know. I said, I find it very weird that Andrew would make that up. And then I was sort of told, like, well, maybe it happened a different time or whatever. Maybe when she wasn't there. It was pretty specific that it happened. And then I said, and I confirmed that with two other people. One person who I'm not going to give the clue to, the clue about on the show because it would reveal a source that was not related to Andrew Colvett, who confirmed that very same thing. And there's no way Andrew would have known anything about that source. He was not communicating. He was not that source's source. Somebody else at that dinner was.
So, and let me be clear, because I like to live in reality. So it's very possible that there were two phone calls and that Erica Kirk was not on one of those phone calls. It's very possible. It's very possible. But the question still remains, why is Bibi Netanyahu calling Charlie Kirk? Why is he calling? Tell me, in what world does the leader of another country need to call the CEO of a political organization? That's the question. See, it's like, yeah, okay, you could say, oh, he didn't ask that question. We know he did, but he didn't ask that question. But before that, why is he calling him? Because he thinks he can get something out of him. That's why. And that alone is strange.
At Les Schwab, we know the road brings us back to what matters. Meet the Reputation 2, our most...
And then I confirmed it for a third time with somebody that is very close to Andrew Colvett, that he said that he lost a lot of money when Charlie said no to Bibi Netanyahu. That's your punishment, Andrew. Truth. So now you can respond to reporters asking the questions. That's what you get. Don't lie in my name. Don't direct people to attack me. I'm done with all of it this year. Now, regarding the Fort Huachuca story, I now very much believe there is something here. So I reached out immediately after this moment where Andrew goes mask down. I reached out to Andrew Colvett directly, and I reached out to the COO. And in good faith, I said, hey, I am happy to communicate the facts to my audience. You don't need to submit your alibi to some obscure YouTuber. You don't have to have Alex Jones go after me or attack me. We were just interested in the truth. We didn't know where this was going to end. And I had a phone call, not with Andrew Colvett, a good phone call. I do think thus far Justin Strife has maybe been the only person that has been well intended. And he's not on social media. So he kind of stays above the fray, and he was trying to understand what happened. And I explained to him that I was now pissed off, that I viewed this to be a violation of our ceasefire. Okay. And he said to me that he would get me a message from Erica that was her quote unquote alibi, for calling it that. I never demanded an alibi again. But that this was a conversation between her and Charlie about dinner, about them making dinner during that time frame when Mitch believes that he saw her on Fort Huachuca, at the Fort Huachuca base, at the hotel. So it would be impossible, obviously, if this is a conversation on the 8th between Charlie and Erica, for her to have also been on the base, conversation about dinner.
Now, I'm going to stop the screen right here. Now, what she will tell you guys is that she's still waiting on proof. So what Erica did was Erica sent her a screenshot of a text message, but the contact was blocked out. And then when she asked her to please show the contact, she said, oh, I don't want the public to know my nickname for Charlie. So Candace Owens said, hey, I won't share that. My audience trusts me. Just show me the actual contact. And Erica hasn't done it. Now, it was the holidays, so why we can wait a little bit, but they haven't sent an alibi. So that's where we're at with this. Candace Owens is obsessed with TPUSA, Erica Kirk, as well as Jews in Israel, and that's what's weird. I think Candace Owens is obsessed with the fact that her friend died, and I think the reality is that if Charlie Kirk, one of the more middle ground, I know people don't believe this, but he's actually middle ground, moderate conservatives, can be taken out, that means anybody who expresses any kind of public truth can also be taken out. And I think her reaction is actually a way to cope with the fact that she could be next. And I think because people are tired of being lied to. I think it's really important to sometimes put yourself in other people's shoes and go, Is this a rational behavior? Is this a standard behavior? I listen to a lot of police interrogations because they're fun to listen to. And one of the things that police officers often tell the people who they're interrogating is, you have to think about this from a jury's perspective. From a jury's perspective, does the story that you're telling me sound true? If I present you with all this information about, like, not even Candace Owens, but Wolves in Finance is saying, listen, there's a bunch of shell companies, there's a bunch of money. Charlie Kirk was getting paid by 4 different companies. The life insurance was in an LLC. It wasn't even to Erica Kirk. And then on this side, you have all these weird lies about the surgeon and the neck and the bullet, and people can't, they still haven't found out where the actual gun is. They haven't shared this information. People at the crime scene were saying, hey, we didn't find the gun. And then all of a sudden we found a gun. It was very strange. It just didn't make sense. The dogs couldn't find the guns, but now they could. So in a jury's mind, that's not going to make sense. And the American public we're no longer idiots. We're no longer blind followers of the news. So I will say this, and I'll end this here. If I ever died under suspicious circumstances, I hope that my family conducts themselves this way. I would hope and pray that I have family members who are this obsessed with finding out the truth. I hope and pray, because what the powers that be were not counting on is they were not counting on the public caring this much and the public resonating this much with what happened. But if we let this one sweep under the rug so quickly, right? I think this will go away in 6 months, to be honest. I think in 6 months people will kind of go, okay, we have some answers, we don't have all of them, but we can start to kind of put together something. But we cannot, the reason why it's so important that people continue to ask questions is that this is the modern day, JFK for a lot of people. And we have to ask questions if it doesn't make sense. For some people, yes, this is just content. This is just money, 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 money. I don't, from the bottom of my heart, I do not believe that is what this is for Candace Owens. I think it's much deeper than money. I think it's very, very close to the chest for her, because if she ever wants to get on a public stage again, she has to think about the fact that she could be taken out too. So there's that. All right, you guys, have a good evening. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you guys tomorrow.